Hello everyone, good day and welcome back to youtube.com/Margo Kamaya. So in today's episode, what are we going to talk about? So we are going to talk about books. This month, it's the month of April, and for the year of 2021, the month of April, it's a very, very big event for the Philippines. Why? Because we are celebrating 500 years. 500 years, well, maybe not commemorating the events that happened 500 years in the months of March and April. In particular, why am I concentrating on the month of April? It's because I live in Cebu City, and Cebu City is one of the provinces or places in the Visayas wherein, excuse me, the Magellan Elcano expedition started or visited 500 years ago. So last week on April 14, Cebu celebrated or commemorated the the Magellan's Cross, the planting of the cross of Magellan 500 years ago. The Basilica Minore del Santo Nino also was a big part of that commemoration. It's because one of the religious icons that we really treasure, in the Philippines, particularly for Christians, is the religious icon of the Santo Nino. So the story goes that during the baptism of the Cebuano royal couple, Humabon and his wife, who became Juana, Reina Juana, Magellan gifted the Santo Nino. And the story also tells us that the history of the Santo Nino, the image of the Santo Nino, was created in Flanders, which is now part of Belgium. There is a twin. There is a twin of our Santo Nino, of the Philippine Santo Nino, which is located in the Louvre Museum. They said that it's a twin because it came from the same workshop, same time and same workshop in Flanders, right? So what are the books that I'll be featuring for today? So there are 4 books. The first book is all about Ferdinand Magellan. Okay, here we are. Ferdinand Magellan, the Armada de Maluco, and the European Discovery of the Philippines by Danilo Madrid Herona. Okay. And this is based on primary sources, called in the archives in Spain as well as in Portugal, and archives here in the Philippines as well. So let me just give you a quick view or review of the book. The book says, the saga of the Magellan expedition's landfall on the Visayas in 1521 was hailed by historians as the European discovery of the Philippines. Although acknowledged as the Philippines' entry point into the historical timeline, this still remains one of the most uncharted terrains of our national history, even after nearly 5 centuries. As works on this subject are written almost entirely by foreigners, the accounts of this event remain remotely accessible to most Filipino readers. Okay. So as we all know in history, when the Magellan Elcano expedition arrived in the Visayas, in March of 1521, they stayed here for provisions, fixing the ship, trading. Right? They traveled to Cebu, and then they ended up, unfortunately for Magellan, he was killed in the Battle of Mactan, no? And that will be on April 27. So that's we are also commemorating it, or remembering that event, no? Victory and humanity, right? Victory of the Filipinos over the foreigners. So a lot of sides to Philippine history. So this book, right, by Danilo Herona, when I bought this, I bought it directly from the author. So as you can see, there is an autograph by the author. I bought this, I think it's like 850 pesos, right? So Professor Herona also has a YouTube channel, and it's called History from the Archive. So you might want to check that out to find out more about Ferdinand Magellan, Antonio Pigafetta, the Magellan-Elcano expedition. Right. Next up is published by the University of San Carlos in Cebu, written by National Artist for Literature Rizelmi Mojares. Okay, it's actually in celebration of the 500 years, no, the Quincentennial. So this is the Feast of the Santo Nino, an introduction to the history of a Cebuano devotion. Right. Okay, sorry, I wrapped it in plastic. I think that's why it's not too clear, right? So the popular devotion to the Santo Nino de Cebu is the single religious devotion of greatest historical significance in the Philippines. The Feast of the Santo Nino is the fullest published account of the history of the devotion. It does not only fill important gaps in this history, it locates the story within the context of the evolution of Cebuano society itself. It is thus also an introduction to the history of Cebu as seen through the prism of a religious devotion. Right. So this is the second book that I'm recommending. This is available in USC Press. Okay. In some also physical bookstores, you might see a copy, once in a while. Okay. The next book is by Vebal. Okay. Santo Nino de Cebu, 1565-2015, 450 Years of History, Culture, and Devotion by Father Pedro Galande, Order of San Agustin. So technically, it's marking the 1565. It's more of the Legazpi Ordaneta expedition. But again, because it is featuring, our devotion to Santo Nino, and we can trace the Santo Nino, the religious icon, the 500-year-old religious icon, to the Magellan-Elcano expedition. So this is also one of the reasons why I'm recommending this book. Okay. Next up, finally, the last book in this series, commemorating 500 years of the Philippines being added to world history, to the historical timeline as we know it. I've actually featured this in one of the videos, previous videos that I created, the More Than We Admit series. So this is the More Hispanic Than We Admit, Book 3, the Quincentennial edition. So 1521 to 1820, edited by Jorge Mojaro. Okay. So just to share with you, if you haven't seen that video yet, just to share with you some of the topics here. You have Caught Between Lapu-Lapu, Magellan, and Elcano, Sincere Tribulations of a Philippine Hispanista in the Occasion of the Quincentennial. We also have Magellan Arrived in the Philippines, Interpretations of Philippine History. It also has Why Did Tupas Betray Dagami? Tupas is the Cebuano chieftain, but Tupas was more of Legazpi's time rather than Magellan. Okay? And then it also has talking about colonial Spanish-Philippine literature, Philippine art and architecture, right? The Brown Knight, the Rise and Fall of Don Nicolas de Herrera. So, Quincentennial edition. So these are the 4 books that I am recommending for those who are interested to find out more about historical sources or history, particularly concentrating on the 16th century, the 1521 to the 1565 years between Magellan and Legazpi. So these are the books. I hope that you'll be able to find a copy, read them for yourselves. I recommend it. I've read them. And again, for Filipiniana book collectors, these are some of the books or 4 books that I recommend that you add to your collection. Okay. So again, please don't forget to like, subscribe, right? Go to my playlist, go to my other uploaded videos. Maybe you'd like some of the videos that I've already posted, right? Just go through the list, and I'll see you on my next episode, right? Thank you, take care, stay safe, paalam, mabuhay!